Chapter 33. Flashback. Time skip. They left the next morning after watching a Marvel film and cuddling. They went on a plane and are now back at their apartment in England. Bye-bye, Morocco. Charlie's perspective. I woke up and heard Nick crying again. He's been crying non-stop since he lost the ring. In other news, I have an appointment with the jeweler that I bought our rings from, so I can even have it made by the same person. I'm not telling Nick yet, so it can be a surprise. Nick, come here. Let me cuddle you. He comes sulking over and flops back into bed with me. I wipe his tears away and kiss his cheeks. Then he cuddles under my arm and lays his head on my chest. After a few minutes of silence, I hear Nick whisper, "Charlie?" I reply, "Yes, babe." Then he goes on, "Do you remember the day that you gave me the ring?" "Of course I do," I reply. He hugs me tighter and snuggles up close as possible. Then I felt a flashback coming. Flashback. Charlie's perspective. I walk into Tori's room, then sit on her bed and rant my feelings to her. "Tori." She takes a sip of her lemonade and says, "What?" in an emotionless tone. "I can't believe Nick is leaving in 1 week for university. I'm going to die without him." She looks at me with a stern face. "Don't be dramatic, Charles," she mumbles. "I'm not being dramatic. Everything is going to suck without him." She replies, "I'm pretty sure you're being dramatic. You'll see him on holidays, plus you're working now and can catch a train over to see him." I grumble and roll my eyes. "It's not the same." She rolls her eyes in return and says, "Obviously it's not the same, but you're going to make the most of it." I knew she was right. I just needed to somehow just live without it. I tell her something I've been worried about a lot lately. "Tori, what happens if long distance is just too hard and Nick leaves me for some hot guy or girl he meets on campus?" She responds, "Charlie, don't be stupid. He loves you and would never do that." I know she's right. God, why is she always right? I've had this idea in the back of my mind for a long time. What if I gave Nick a promise ring? We've been in love for a long time and talk about our future all the time. Maybe this would be the perfect thing to prove how serious we are about making our relationship work even through the tough times. "Tori, one last thing." She takes her headphones off that she just put on and says, "What is it now, drama queen?" I reply, "Do you think it would be weird if I got Nick a promise ring?" She doesn't say anything, so I say, "Never mind, that was a stupid idea." Then she proceeds to say, "No, that's the smartest thing you've said all morning." Nick would love it. He loves anything you do. It's almost sickening. I laugh and thank Tori for always giving her brutally honest opinion. Tori is definitely an open book. She lets you know what she's thinking, and I love that about her. Now that I know what I'm going to do, I need the perfect ring for Nick. I need it to be perfect. I call Aled. He always had the most amazing plans. "Hey Aled, I have a question." "Hey Charlie, what's up?" "Well, I want to give Nick a promise ring to show him how much I love him and how serious I am about our relationship, but I don't see him wear rings much, and I'm not sure what would be perfect." I don't know Nick the best, and I most definitely don't know his taste in jewelry, but maybe you can call him up and ask to go over to his house, and when you get there, make an excuse to why he needs to leave the room, then look in his drawers and stuff for a ring that he owns, then you can get a better idea of his style. Aled, you're literally a genius. Thank you. I'm going to hang up and ring Nick. Now, talk later? Okay, bye. Love you, Charles. Love you too, Aled. It's go time. I just need to text my boyfriend and ask to go around his house. It's not like I don't hang around his house every day anyways. I'll just text him and set up a time. Charlie. "Hey, baby cakes." Nick. "Oh God, Charlie, you know how much I despise that nickname." Charlie. "Sorry, baby cakes. I forgot." Nick. "It's okay, Charbear. I know you forget stuff a lot." Charlie. Okay, actually, barf, you win. Nick, me equals winner. Charlie, yeah, big shot. Can I come around your house later today? I need cuddles. Bad. Nick, yeah, duh, same. Though I need kisses too. Charlie, can I come around 6? Nick, can you come any sooner? I miss you. Charlie, I'll ask my mom. She wants to make sure I'm eating every last bit of my dinner. Every night now. I can never escape. Nick, is her forcing you to eat all of it helping? Charlie, no, not really. Chapter 34. Flashback 2. For Alep's plan to work, I need to not bring any extra attention to the fact that I was going to be snipping through his drawers in hopes of finding some indication of his taste in jewelry, without having to ask him. It would look super suspicious if I just randomly asked him, "Oh, what type of rings do you like?" He would be on to me right away. I walk downstairs and go put on my shoes and yell, "Mom, I'm going to Nick's now." I cross my fingers. She'll let me go out and not torture me with her constant nagging and trying to shove an absurd amount of food down my throat. She walks up behind me and sternly states, "Charlie Spring, you are not going anywhere until you've sat down with the family and ate the dinner I set out for you. That's the rule, and it's final." I hated her for this, and just wished she would stop trying to force food on me this way. Nick would have made sure I ate anyway, but not in a controlling manner like her. Ugh, fine, I say in response, then walk over to the table and sit with everyone. I look, and to my disgust, I see lasagna. Most forms of pasta have always been some sort of fear food for me. I hated the way I felt after eating it. My mom, of course, placed a massive slice on my plate that was bigger than anyone else's at the table. "Mom, this is so unfair. I can't eat all this. It will make me sick. Plus, I hate lasagna." "Charlie, don't argue. This is what's best for you. Now please stop talking back so we can have a nice family dinner." Tori then stood up and said, "This is utterly ridiculous, Mom. He said he doesn't want that much." She rolls her eyes and just ignores Tori. I gave her a thanks for trying and start moving my fork around the plate. I just stare at it, then cut small pieces and I put it in my mouth. It took me a while, but I managed to stomach half the large piece of lasagna. I know Nick would be proud of me. I get up and try to take my plate to the sink. Then my mom says, "Charlie, we just talked about this. Put the plate back down on the table and finish it or you're not going to Nick's house." I felt full and horrible thoughts started flooding my head. I just knew I couldn't eat anymore, but I listened to my mom and sit back down. Right as I sit down, I felt tears falling from my face. I tried my best to stop the tears from falling because my mom always gets angry when I cry and says I can't cry my way out of everything and tries to make me feel bad about crying. I close my eyes and squeeze them super tight to stop the tears, but nothing's working. My dad notices that I'm crying and says, "Charlie, go put your dish on the counter and get ready for Nick's. You've eaten plenty. I'm proud of you, son." I felt less lonely in this moment, and was happy that my dad was at least proud of me. I head upstairs, and halfway up I hear my parents downstairs arguing. "Jane, you know that was way too much for him to eat. For God's sake, I didn't even eat that much. Charlie ate the normal size amount. That should be enough." "Julio, I hate it when you take his side and undermine me like that. He needs to get his weight up. He's too small and looks sickly. I'm trying to help him. Forcing him to eat till he's sick, Jane, isn't going to help for fuck's sake. He's crying and still trying to eat it to please you." "Don't swear, Julio. Oliver could hear you." "He's crying too much. He's crying more than his baby brother and sister combined. I'm just tired of his crying by now. He knows how to get out of things. If he just cries that way, he does." "Jane, that's untrue. He was clearly struggling. You don't get over an eating disorder overnight. I'm not a moron, Julio. I know you don't get over an eating disorder overnight. That's why I'm pushing him to get better. Now drop it. I run to the bathroom and slam the door. I couldn't listen to any more of that conversation. My mom thinks I just cry to get out of things. I try and hold my emotions back when she's around, but I just can't. I know I cry more than all my friends and Nick, and maybe she's right. I do cry a lot, but I'm not just crying to get out of eating. I feel so alone, like nobody understands. I don't even grab my stuff in my room. I just run out the door, trying to put my shoes on as fast as possible so my mom doesn't see I'm still sobbing. I successfully made it out of my house without my mom seeing. I run down the street towards Nick's house as fast as I could. A few blocks later, I'm at his house. I ring the doorbell, forgetting to text Nick. I'm here. So, unexpectedly, Miss Nelson opens the door and sees me standing there in the pouring rain with no coat or umbrella, with tears falling down my face. She takes one look at me and pulls me into the house in a warm embrace. Charlie, are you okay, baby? I'm fine now that I'm here. She squeezes me tighter and says, you know you're always welcome here, even in the middle of the night if you need. Nick loves you so much, but so do I. I start crying more and say, I wish my mom could be more like you. She doesn't care about me or my feelings. Nick's mom starts tearing up a bit. Some people just have a funny way of showing their support, and Charlie, I'm so sorry for whatever has happened. Right after she said that, I hear Nick walking down the stairs. He locks eyes with me and sees my face wet with tears, then comes running towards me. Alright, everyone, that is the end of today's episode. Next episode, we will be reading Chapter 35, Flashback Part 3. Once again, I have a Spotify account now, and that means that you can find all this content and spicy content on there. So leave recommendations in the comments for books or fanfictions, spicy content, all that kind of stuff. And I will try my best to read them for you guys. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Goodbye, friends, and have a nice day, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between. Bye, friends.